Well, hey there again. Kyle back at you with Kyle's Creations. Well, as you can see today, we are going to try to bring back to life this plastic. This came off of an 84 ATC 185 Honda. And, you know, there's a million videos out there about how to do this. You know, a lot of times you need to drill a bunch of holes, put zip ties through it, or you can, you know, take pieces of metal and, you know, rivet it on the back to hold them in place, all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure, you know, some of you guys have probably seen this out there. And I saw it and I just had to try it. And when I saw it, I actually thought of a good idea. A lot of you guys might have a soldering iron gun, you know, not the one with just a straight tip, but it's got like a two-pronged deal, kind of looks like that at the end, and it comes out to one soldering tip. If you take that out of there, you might be able to do the same thing. And of course, there's the other thing of the, you know, taking a soldering iron and welding this together. I haven't had much luck with that. I mean, it holds together, but as soon as you hit some real heavy bumps and stuff, it just, you know, unless you're adding a bunch of filler plastic in, which, by the way, if you're going to do that, you need to match the plastic. You know, this thing where they melt zip ties and stuff like that, it's not the similar plastic. It's dissimilar plastic. It will not hold very well. But it's a long process. I've got another process that I do for fixing gas tanks, the plastic gas tanks that crack, which I'll share with you guys in the future. But this thing's kind of cool. Comes with, I don't know how many of the good ones are left. It's kind of hard to see. It's got a bunch of different shapes. This is my favorite shape here. That's why there's not many of them left. But for all kinds of different scenarios and different places that you're trying to get into. Okay, well, this is just kind of a smaller version. It's got a little bit of a squiggly on it. But basically what you do is you just take one of these guys, hard to fit in there, stick it in the end, hold your plastic together, press the button and kind of melt this in there. And I'm gonna show you guys, but when you go in there and you're melting in the plastic, obviously you don't want to push too hard because you're going to go right through. But when it starts to melt just a little bit, I usually give it a little bit of a wiggle, trying to get the plastic to cover that, and I kind of twist it in. And then you got to be gentle and let out the button and let it cool. And once it cools, then you can just pull this thing off there, and it'll leave the little metal deal in there. You do that. It'll come out pretty good. You know, I'm very frugal. You know, these plastics are expensive. You know, if I'm trying to build a really, really nice machine, you know, that's one thing. But this machine's just kind of You know, we're going to put a new seat cover on it and stuff too, which we'll do today. But you know, for the time being, while I'm leaving the seat on there, I'm trying to keep the plastic as stiff and in its original position as I can. And then, you know, we'll start stitching this back together. And, you know, hopefully, and this is actually a pretty dang strong. You know, you're infusing metal back into plastic. A lot of this plastic gets really brittle, you know, as it gets older. I'm sure this happened because somebody was trying to do a wheelie on this thing. And, but yeah, this works really good. You know, for the money, I think that whole kit on, I think it was Amazon, was like 12 bucks or 15 bucks or something like that. It's not expensive at all. And it's definitely worth every penny. And you can buy more of the little deals. But I also thought, you know, you could probably, if you were in a pinch, you could just stick a paper clip in there, and that would probably do it too. So anyway, I'm going to get set up here, and we are going to start putting this guy back together. I'm going to try to get this as lined up as I can. It takes a second for it to cool off. Once it does, it's not strong enough yet. Oh, where'd I put them? I'm just kind of going through right now and just kind of trying to get it into a general form, and then I'll go back through and fill a bunch of them in. And once you're done, just kind of go back with you can either just bend these little metal pieces over, or take a piece of side cutters and, you know, trim them all off. Yeah, it doesn't take much heat to get your little guy to melt down in there. Takes just every time I do this, it takes a little practice. You kind of get the flow of how it melts in there, and you know, it's not like we do this all the time. I'm only holding that button for a couple of seconds. It gets really hot really fast. This is my favorite shape. It's the biggest squiggly line. I guess it's kind of hard to describe, but it's the biggest. left hand is not working well today. And we're not going for perfection, but we just don't want the ugliest machine out there on the trail. Let that be your buddy, you know? Now obviously we're missing some plastic. There ain't much we're going to do about that today. And of course, now, I mean, it's kind of hard to see. I don't really want to pick it up just yet because it's not super strong. But as you can see, it's at least pulling it together. And we are just going to go and stitch this all the way across. It's kind of tedious. Just boop, 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 boop. Then I actually have a cover. We're going to take this seat off. I've got a cover for that. Clean all that up, put that on there, and have a halfway decent looking back plastics for this 185. Looks like I actually got a couple cracks up here I got to deal with too, but nothing major. So we're just going to keep plugging away at it and go from there. All right, we got it. Looks like it's in pretty good shape. As you can see, it's not, obviously this is not perfect. It's a little roached out, but at least now it's holding itself together. I mean, if you go and do some more wheelies or whatever and you hit the back of this, it's probably going to break again. It's not made out of concrete, but holds together pretty good, and you don't have all those stitch marks coming around the outside. So in my opinion, for the cost and everything, it's a better option. We do have we are going to replace the seat cover, and got this new pretty seat for it. Little Honda logo on the back. And it does look like this seat was covered twice. Like you've got the original seat, and then it looks like there's another seat material here. And so yeah, again, we're not trying to make a show winner. We're just trying to make something that's worth riding around. So once I start, I'm going to get the seat off, get the plastics out of the way, and we'll start tearing into that seat. All right. Well, that was also a fail. I thought for sure that just kind of looking at the front and looking at the back was together, but it is blown out. So that seat pan is no good. There's a couple pieces, the latch, the brace that goes across. We'll hold on to some of that, some of the hardware. But that seat pan is trash. So looks like we're not going to be doing a seat cover today. I'll have to see if I can't track down a seat pan that doesn't cost $8 billion. Because unfortunately, all these metal seat pans like this across the country, a lot of them look like that. So, yeah, we'll go from there, guys. Thanks. And remember, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. I love talking about this old kind of stuff. And if you have any questions, problems, whatever, anything I can help you guys with, let me know. Pretty good with old Honda stuff. Anything from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, even up into the early 2000s. As soon as we start getting that fuel injected stuff, I can fix a lot of stuff on those bikes, but when it comes to the electronics and the fuel injection stuff, I'm not much help. I can figure that kind of stuff out on my own, but as far as a wealth of information, I do not have that. So anyways, hey, if you've got an old seat that you want to donate, by all means, hit me up in the comments. But till then, I am going to hunt another one of these down. So again, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. We'll see you later.